Yo, it's Arcade, and today we're gonna create deep house for a night ride. So that's sort of the vibe we are going for, like when you are driving your car at night and you're listening to some deep house. So yeah, it's good to like set this idea beforehand. It sort of inspires you. Also, this video is brought to you by Skillshare. More on that later. But right now, let's get started with the drums. So I'm gonna change the BPM to 128 and let's see some kicks. So maybe this kick. Lower the bass a bit. We want open hi-hats. I want the classic one. And of course, we're gonna increase the swing, which is gonna make everything better. Trust me. Like for future house, deep house, I always increase the swing. It sort of moves everything a little bit off beat, which makes it a lot more groovy. Like here's an example, right? With the swing. Without it, you can see it's like one after another without it, but with it, it's like, it's just more groovy. So yeah, definitely use this to your advantage. So now a clap. The first tip I can give you is go to your open hi-hat, enable the envelope, lower everything except for the sustain, let that go all the way up, and a little bit of the release as well. So now if you go into piano roll and you hold the note for a long time, it's gonna play the whole hi-hat. But if you shorten it, it's gonna cut it off. So we want that to make everything even more groovy by changing the length of certain notes. We can put that in, put another one in the playlist, click this button right here, make unique. Then you have two patterns, double click it, and again, change the length to something different, you know? Another thing you can do to make your drum beat more groovy, well, I'm gonna actually make unique here as well at the end to make another variation. Maybe another hi-hat. Or maybe a snare. Something really short. Maybe this, shorten it even more. Maybe we can pitch it up. So maybe like that. We can put it on a separate channel. So we want more of the snare. And I want a bit of a fill here. With the clap. So yeah, there we have that. So one more thing I want to do, sort of do like a hi-hat fill, sort of like something like this. And just put it somewhere. Maybe even change the panning like this. You know, just little details to make it more interesting. And then maybe we make one more unique fill at the end on the 8th repetition. Sounds pretty good to me. I think I can change the clap. I'm not sure if I like this one. We are making night house, so it should be like more calm here. Maybe we can layer it with another clap, put it in the playlist. Okay, I actually do want one more clap. And this one will have reverb on it. So I'm gonna put more reverb on it. And I'm just gonna put it probably here. So there's our drum beat. I spent a bit more time on it just to make sure we have a good groove to get started. I think drum beat makes the biggest difference in house songs, so make sure you spend enough time on it. So now let's move on to the bass. And I really want some deep bass here. So I'm gonna go through some sounds. The first sound I pick, and it's pretty good. I already like this. So what we're gonna do, put it on a new channel. And actually I'm gonna create another channel called SD, color it red. This is gonna be our sidechain channel. And I'm gonna use Kickstart plugin to do the sidechaining. So if you don't wanna use Kickstart, you can also use Fruity Limiter or gross beat, you can go to repeater presets and find sidechain A, sidechain B, but I just find that kickstart is a little bit better, so I'm gonna use that. So that means every time the kick hits, the volume of the bass is lowered. So now let's actually make the melody. Very simple. And we of course have to route the bass, which is on channel 7, to channel number 8, which is the sidechain. So it will be affected by it. So just go under it and press route to this track only. Now it's routed, and every time it plays, it is affected by this kickstart plugin. Okay, let me just copy it like this. So what I want to do is mute the hi-hats in the first part of the song, but I already have too many patterns with the hi-hats, so I'm just gonna put them on the same channel, number 2, we can call it hi-hats, and I'm gonna lower the volume, create automation, and just sort of mute it. Put the volume all the way down, so we have no hi-hats in the first repetition, and then I put the volume back on, so they come in afterwards. We can actually maybe have them come in like slowly, like right? It's like a little fill. Okay, so we are looking for a really deep bass here that's gonna create this night atmosphere. And this is good, but I don't know if that's the bass I'm looking for. So let's search more. Let me check another bass in Nexus that I know of. Okay, maybe we can have both of these. But let me tell you, you don't want to mix two basses together. But if we delete the low frequencies from this one, maybe. I don't know what it will leave us with. Something like this, maybe? Okay, I sort of like this bass. So now let's actually layer the bass with some chords. So chord progressions, everyone's favorite. So if you guys want to learn more about music theory and music production, check out our sponsor today, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is a platform where you guessed it, learn new skills, like animation, marketing, graphic design, and probably your favorite topic, music. So there's tons of classes teaching you everything you need to know about music production, whether you want to learn more about FL Studio, or how to play the piano, or get more streams on Spotify, you can find all of this and more on Skillshare. All of these classes are really well made and explain everything in detail. Right now, I would recommend this class, Music Theory, Exploring Sound, Rhythm and Melody on the MIDI Grid by Fernando Arruda. The reason why I like this class is because it teaches you music theory, but instead of doing it on the piano, you can do it on your computer. So anyone can learn music theory with this class. So if you want to get access to this class or any other class on Skillshare, check out the link in the description below. The first 1,000 people who click the link below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. That means you get access to all of the classes on Skillshare for 1 free month, and you can learn a lot in that time. So check it out, don't miss out on this opportunity. And now let's get back to the video. And we are back, so hopefully when you take some classes, you'll be able to make some good chord progressions. So now let's actually make one. So I have a really simple bass here. So for this chord layer, we want something subtle, like a pad. And again, put it on channel 9, but route it to the sidechain channel. And I'm gonna make sure to delete the low frequencies from this sound as well, so it doesn't overlap with the bass. And I think it needs a lot of reverb because it needs to create this night atmosphere. I'm not sure about the sound, but let's actually create the chords. So we have these 3 notes from the bass. So we're gonna just create a simple chord. F. So this is a simple major chord. To create it, you just skip 3 spaces, then put a note in, and then skip 2 spaces and put a note in. And that's a major chord. To make it minor, you move the middle note 1 down. This is a minor. This is a major. Just remember this shape, it's always the same. Okay, so I don't love this pad, so let's search more. I'm gonna try Pigments, because Pigments has like this really nice evolving sound, which I like. So we're gonna do pads. I mean, this is good, it's just not very harmonic. It doesn't have any harmonics, right? You can barely tell what chord is playing. But it can be one of the layers, so I'm gonna keep that. Again, we are trying to create this atmosphere here. So having sounds like this helps a lot. You want more abstract sounds. Because something like this maybe. I'm also gonna add stereo shaper and change the presets to stereo S2. So the sound is more in the left and the right speakers instead of in the middle. So let's hear it in the song now. So I like the kick, but we can actually EQ it a little bit to make it more deep. So I'm gonna lower the high frequency. And I'm actually gonna do one thing for the claps as well. So I feel like the claps are also very harsh on the high frequencies. So this is a mixing tip. Listen to your song and then think what you want to change. And once you understand what you want to change, just use any technique that you know on how to change it. So if the claps are too harsh, what can you do? You can use EQ and lower the high frequencies. Okay, so we have this really nice drum beat with some bass and some movement. I like it. To make this a lot better, we need to add some effects. And then of course the melody. But first the effects. So we want some sweeps like white noise. And so again, because I stated that this is gonna be like a deep house for night ride, now when I'm choosing sounds, even effects, I have a better idea of what I want based on my idea of like a night ride song, right? So even when I'm choosing this white noise, I feel like this one represents a nighttime the best. I don't know, that's just me maybe. And what we're gonna do is reverse it as well. So click on this button, make unique, then double click the second one and reverse it. You can shorten it as well, so it's not as harsh at the end. Okay, so now we have this. I wanna add more effects, ideally some vocals.
Deep house.
Not that. So maybe something like this. And I think we are working with F, so we're gonna lower that by 1. Let's just hear if it fits. Okay, it fits. So I'm gonna put it on a separate channel, and I'm gonna put lots of reverb on it, like a lot, and lower the dryness as well. So, you know, we're gonna create this background effect, lower the dryness even more. So we're gonna do instead, is just shorten it, and also set this to smooth bleeding. So when you shorten it, it sort of ends naturally instead of like cutting off. And maybe we can create like a... And then we can do another note, which for me is F and D. So this vocal is F sharp. So look at your keyboard if you have one, or if you don't, then look at piano roll. This is F sharp, right? So if you want to go to F, you lower it by 100, which is 1 key, then you are at F. So if you want to go to D from F sharp, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You lower it by 400. So that's how you count it. Just go to your vocal and lower the pitch by 400. You can see how much it's lowered in the top left corner. So now we are minus 400 cents. That means 4 keys. So we have F and D. Now I want some vocal chops. Well, it's gonna be either melody or vocal chops, one of those. So let's try a melody first. So I'm gonna go with Pigments again. So I'm gonna put sound goodies around this because it's somewhat quiet. And let's see if we can come up with a melody. Maybe like an arpeggio type. So yeah, when I'm making this, I always say I sort of imagine the melody in my head and then put it in the piano roll. This time, I'm sort of doing this more randomly because I'm not really sure what I want. But I feel like these notes will fit well. I have an idea, but let me just think about it. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you another tip which you can use when making a melody. I want to extend the bass and everything. So I could extend it in the bass sound, then the melody and stuff like that. But let's actually just go and create a new instance for a sound, and it will be a piano. Any basic sound will do, but piano is probably the best for making melodies. And then I'm gonna copy the bass into the piano, and I'm also gonna copy the melody into my new piano sound, right? And here I'm gonna create the melody, because you can experiment here without like going back and forth and changing the sounds, and you can really hear the notes clearly in here. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. I want to extend the chords and the whole progression, right? Okay, this is good. Okay, we just have to figure out these notes. Okay, I think that works. You can see that it's way more effective to do the melody in the piano roll with the piano sound, with the chords and the melody notes at the same time, rather than editing everything sound by sound, you know? So now that I have this ready, I can actually copy it into the actual sounds that I'm using in the song. Now let's copy these notes, the bass notes, and make this unique. The chords, make unique the bass notes, and just copy the bass notes in here. Remember, this is F4, so we're starting on F4, and then in here as well. And let's hear actually how it sounds with the bass, because maybe it will be too low. Yeah, it's too low, so just put these octave higher. The way you do that is you just select it, hold Control, arrow up, and it's octave higher. Now we want to change the chords as well. So we're going to copy the notes in here, and we have to make the chord progression once again. But again, this sound is like, it's hard to tell what I'm playing. So I'm going to do this with the piano again. Simple as that. So create the chords, same shapes as I was explaining before. Just put this higher. So now I created the chords in here because it's easier with the piano. So I'm just gonna copy them back into our chords right here, starting here. And I think it's octave higher. And the last thing we need is the melody. Take the melody and again. So now let's hear what we got, because I just spent the last 20 minutes creating this melody in piano. Now let's hear how it sounds in the actual song. Okay, I like it a lot, but the sound is not great. Like, it's good, but we need more. We need more harmonics, right? So I'm gonna layer it. So one more thing, I'm gonna automate this. We're gonna automate this. We're gonna automate all of it. Create automation clip. So the way I did it is just select this, move the knobs that you want to automate, and then right click, create automation clip. And it created 4 of them. So let's sort of automate all of them. And I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna do it anyways. So I think we need one more layer, one more clean layer. So perhaps use Nexus for this one. And then we can probably do an ending like this. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is the open hi-hat. I'm not sure if it fits well with this type of song. So yeah, I wanted to introduce more movement, so maybe like adding a phaser here and lowering the high frequencies a bit. So yeah, I like the changes to the open hi-hat. The last thing we need to do is sort of make sure this progresses well, right? So I want the melody actually to slowly fade in. So I'm gonna use EQ for that. And I'm gonna do low pass like this and automate this. And then just make sure this goes up. So it's gonna slowly filter in. Okay guys, there we have it. The arrangement is done. So now let's have a listen to the finished result. So yeah, that's our finished result right there. Thank you for watching. In the next one, I'll do a video on how to make breakdowns. Also, make sure to check out Skillshare, link below, get your 1 month free trial. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.